There's no landfill shortage in the United States today. If all the solid waste for the next 1,000 years were put into a single space, it would only take up 44 miles of landfill, a mere 0.01% of the U.S. landscape, according to the article, The Other Side of Recycling. I know that for many of you, you've been bombarded with pro-recycling propaganda for most of your life. I hope that you can open yourself up to the new concept I'll be discussing of reusing and conserving rather than recycling, a concept that usually is not supported. I've been recycling for years. When I really began to think about the process, it seemed, what good does it really do? Does recycling really save the environment, or are we just blindly believing everything that we've been told as growing up to be adults? I thought, did conserving and reusing make more sense? This is why you should get rid of those big red recycling bins outside of your house and begin to focus more on conserving and reusing, because that is what will truly help the environment. I will explain to you why recycling paper really does more harm than good, why recycling does not save energy, and why recycling is not that economically viable a process. Some people believe that recycling newspaper is one of the most important things to do for the environment, but newspaper is a misunderstood recycled item. What they are not told is that the process of recycling newspaper actually creates quite a great deal of pollution. First of all, recycling does not save trees, since companies that produce paper have their own tree farms where they grow trees solely for the paper production process. Pristine and untouched forests are not used for paper production, as sometimes thought, according to Petrie's article in 2008, Rethinking Recycling. It is also true that recycling newspaper requires ink to be bleached from the papers. This is a chemically intensive process that creates large deal of toxic waste, as opposed to benign waste that would be created from simply throwing the paper into landfills, according to Petrie's article. Instead of newspapers, we should use online sources for news, as they are much more economically and environmentally friendly, and support the idea of conserving and reusing rather than recycling. Another myth is that recycling saves energy. But this is not true, because the power saved by recycling is voided because of the power it takes to recycle. The energy used to recycle and separate plastics and magazines proves to be inefficient and extremely time-consuming. Magazines especially contain too much foreign debris, which often gets a whole load of recycling rejected, wasting much time and effort. Extracting the recyclable material from these products proves to really do no good. The energy used and greenhouse gases that are emitted from the recycling process just seem to void anything that was being done. It seems like essentially what is happening is that things are getting sorted into different piles before they are thrown away, because it is so hard to get the recyclable materials out of these products. Recycling also means more trucks on the road for recyclable pickup, generating more air pollution. Due to mandatory recycling, New York City had to add an additional pickup per week, and Los Angeles had to double its fleet of trucks, creating more pollution and using more energy just to pick up these recyclables, according to the 1995 article, What They Don't Tell You About Recycling. Not only does recycling hurt the environment, it also hurts the economy. Recycling is not even economically viable. Some people believe that using recycled products is saving them money, but if examined closely, this proves to be inaccurate. Although recyclable products tend to be less expensive on the store shelves, the retail price does not always tell the whole story. For example, if New Yorkers had simply thrown away their garbage instead of sorting the paper, washing out their bottles and cans during the last 7 years, they would have saved at least $500 million. This would have been enough to build a dozen new public schools, or to put $15,000 worth of computers into existing classrooms. It might have been enough to increase the Parks Department's operating budget by at least 50% each year, according to Elias's article in 2009, The Economics of Recycling. Quite often, recycling programs are paid for by taxpayers, and once your local recycler collects your trash and processes it, they turn around and sell it to whichever company will make the retail products. So when you see a roll of recycled toilet paper on sale for 50 cents less than fresh paper, that doesn't account for the money you have paid to make the recycling program a reality. Remember also that your dollars must be used to pay for the employees of the government-funded recycling programs. Recycling is not always the right answer. For purposes of helping the environment, we must conserve and reuse instead. So before you take your next load of recycling out to the curb, double check to make sure there's nothing in there that can be used again. We should not be focused on recycling as it perpetuates the problem. We must instead look to reusing and conserving. Recycling primarily is a political decision rather than an economical or technical one. We need to take the examples of recycling and put them into conserving and reusing. When we take showers, we need to use less water. When we use paper, we need to use both sides. We need to stop being such a wasteful society and move towards conservation and reusing as instead of recycling. So the next time you find yourself recycling, think reuse instead.